Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this EWJI webinar on non-man entry tank and vessel cleaning. So what is the EWJI? The European Water Jetting Institute, the EWJI, was founded in March the 20th, 2013, according to European law for non-profit associations. The mission is the exchange of knowledge to foster the development of the water jetting techniques and applications, creating cross-border opportunities and growth for the industry. To be involved in and have an impact on the health and safety standards, best practices, training and legislation related with water jetting. Who is part of the EWJI? EWJI works to create and uphold a global network of professionals, contractors, manufacturers and asset owners, associations and stakeholders. So tanks and vessels. Let's have a quick look at the definitions. Tanks. Typically, tanks are containers used for the storage of gas, oil, water, petrochemical products, for us typically employed for industrial uses. Usually tanks are intended to be used for static storage of liquids at or beneath atmospheric pressure. Vessels. Vessels are usually containers which are designed to hold liquids, vapors or gases, crucially at pressures above 15 psi, for us here in Europe 3.29 bar. In particular, vessels store products such as petroleum, chlorine and ammonium. So here we're going to look at the three concerned parties in non-man entry tank cleaning, those being the asset owner, the contractor and the manufacturer, and we're going to talk about the relationships between them and the key decisions they make. So looking at the asset owner, the contractor, the asset owner's requirements and priorities, they need to be clear. They need to be clear on the job in hand, the execution and compliance related to reducing the risk methods. The contractor in turn needs to make sure that the asset owner has been made aware of the technology and the safest methods of automation can be made. This then allows both of them to make the best possible informed decision. So from an asset owner's perspective, considerations need to be along the lines of time frame. How quickly does the job need to be done? When does the job need to be completed? Proper handling and disposal of the waste product that's going to be generated from the cleaning of the tank or the vessel. Safety and environmental issues concerning potentially hazardous products that's going to come from the tank and any possible entry hazards going in and emission hazards that's going to be produced from the cleaning. You need to have consideration from the asset owner on the proper industrial cleaning method or methods, because there may be more than one, in the cleaning of the tank and the vessel. Securing a qualified and competent company to carry out the safe cleaning of the tank and the economic factors and quotations for the cleaning operation. From the asset owner's perspective, the time of the year and the weather issues. Certain times of year come up with certain challenges. Summer being hotter weather, winter being colder brings its challenges as well. Ice, freezing, snow. The complexity of the cleaning operation. Some tanks have built-in mixers, sensors, turbulence plates, etc., which adds complexity to the cleaning. And the asset owner needs to have an expected quality of the cleaning operation. What is the standard they're expecting to achieve? Joint operation sometimes with two or more companies. Cranes, hand workers, electricians, etc. when you're adding in several challenges there. Qualified internal workers, the plan that's going to see the work through, the follow-up of the operation, the social organization, the coordination of everything all working together harmoniously. The asset owner would also have a perspective of an address to address the need for offices, toilets, break areas, all the social aspects that need to be included on the site. Contractors' perspective, they need to approach more customers to involve the stakeholders early in the tender process and involve client maintenance managers, HSE, high-risk activities with low-risk methods. There needs to be a changing mindset to move away from the traditional hands-on to a more safer, hands-free, non-man entry cleaning, and this takes time. Contractors' perspective, poor safety performance, loss of reputation, and time to manage accidents. Needs to be a demonstration of continuous improvement and increased reputation, making a successful change to an automated hands-free approach, which newer methods will demonstrate. There's a legal, a company, and a moral obligation to minimize confined space entry where practical. This is thanks to a hands-free, automated, and safer process. It's the asset owner and the contractor's joint responsibilities to consider emission control, operator safety, waste disposal and safety obligations, and also the wastewater treatment that's produced thereafter. From the manufacturer's perspective, the manufacturer needs to have a good and clear understanding of the asset owner and the contractor's joint expectations, a good and clear understanding of the application, the equipment sustainability, the on-site conditions, and the timescale to achieve the job. That's my part of the presentation completed. Thank you. I'll be back for the question and answer session at the end, and the presentation will be continued by Daniel Devò. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Steve, for beginning the presentation and handing it over to me. From here ahead, we are going to compare different methods. And we're going to start with this, which is manual cleaning in vessel and tanks, which is what we call the traditional way of cleaning tanks and vessel manually. Manual cleaning is done inside the tanks with the handheld lens, air hand tools, wiping, or other manual methods. For example, washing and floating the cleaning. There are pros and cons. The pros are that the costs are lower for equipment, that the workers are already familiar with the manual equipment. The mobilization is usually easy. You don't need a high-skilled workforce, and the job usually is simply done. The cons are that the risk is very high for the operator that are exposed to the hazards, both of the materials and the gases present in the tanks. The operator usually gets tired due to the manual operations. They need breaks, and the breathing apparatus is usually required. There are also visibility challenges like misting and the lack of lighting, and you definitely need a first aid on site. We have semi-automated cleaning in vessel and tanks. In this, we're going to talk about 2D tools. We have in this video a single axle of rotation, which is preferable to be used in tanks which have a center access point and without obstruction. The cleaning is done in one pass and using controlled feed. We have a wide range of pressure available and flow and rotation speeds. And there are available extension arms to reduce the standoff distance to tank and vessel walls. We can also have 3D tools, which has two axles of rotations and deliver full cover of the surface to be cleaned. They are versatile and capable of higher flows. They are effective for tank with off-center access and obstructions inside. They are adaptable for multiple flows and pressures. There are extension arms available, which can be added to reduce standoff from the vessel tank walls. They are suitable for small entry diameter. And we have cages that could be incorporated for protecting the tool, and as well as booms that can be used to help the positioning of the 2D and 3D tooling. What we call tank cleaning cannons. They are engineered to mount in existing manway openings. They have a single jet, and they deliver more cleaning power with the higher reach. They have usually 3 axles of movements for a complete internal cleaning operation. Cameras are included, and the operation is controlled remotely from outside. The pro of using this kind of technologies is definitely safety, because they remove the operators from the hazards, and they provide a more precise and consistent cleaning. The cons are the cost, which is higher compared to manual cleaning, the time to mobilize, which is also higher compared to manual cleaning, the space on site for the mobilization of the equipment is needed, training is needed for the operators, we need higher skilled workforce, and the technology could potentially suffer breakdowns and need reparation. The robotic systems that can be used in the tank cleaning process are able to remove thick sludge in the storage tank. They could be used in the chemical industry and in the pharmaceutical industry, as well as refinery. In the video that is playing, you are able to see a typical job site organization and how the activity are actually started, while the robot can enter the manual without the need of person entering in the tank for allowing the robot to enter. The control are made from a safe distance, and the robot is equipped with cameras that allow the operator to follow and control the operation from the safe position. Over 200 confined space that happen across Europe every year, and the cleaning time can also be reduced up to 45%. It's considered a safer, faster, and cleaner and more efficient method. When using a robotic system, the arrangement on site is usually done as explained in this small picture. The robot can work in zone 0, and the control room can be placed in zone 1. And the alignment on site is done by a forklift or a crane. The tank cleaning operation are organized with the robot working in zone 0, driven by the operator safely inside the control room, and monitoring the operation with through the camera system. The pros of using the methods is the operator safety, the downtime of the tank, which is lowered, the transformation of the variable cost into fixed costs, the ATEX Zone 0 certification for the products that ensure the maximum safety level. We have a safe and clear remote viewing, and there is the possibility to customize the system according to the job site needs. The cons is that the system alone cannot do material recovery, that the initial time spent for learning how to use the technology is higher compared to other methods. The cost and the investor, the cost and that the cost and the investment, which is higher at the beginning, the space requirement on site, and the training needed for the person, because in this scenario we need specialized technician for use the equipment. The sweeping system is definitely another option that we're going to present through this video.
Traditional tank cleaning methods may appear to be low cost, but the man-entry approach results in difficult health and safety procedures, large waste volume, and lengthy downtimes. The IBKA non-entry tank cleaning system is a revolutionary and highly efficient process, originally developed to deal with tanks where high solid levels prevented manway removal or the landing of floating roofs. The process involves the fitting of tank sweep units, as required, to the tank shell, using either a cold tap flange supplied by NESL, or in the case there are no available manways on the tank, by hot tapping an 18-inch flange to the tank shell. A pump is fitted, together with hoses and a filtration unit. The tank sweep jet streams are directed through nozzles into the tank. The contents are circulated under high pressure and carefully controlled. The movement and pressure is strictly monitored to ensure complete mixing throughout the tank. This procedure ensures safe and spill-free operation. The liquid is recycled via the filtration system. Once the tank contents are fully homogenized, slipstreaming then commences to direct the fluid to the treatment plant. The treatment plant removes the solids from the homogeneous stream. The solids are separated out, the oil and water is returned to the tank in order to maintain the required safe operating level during tank sweep operations. Once the required specific gravity in the homogenized fluid is achieved, the tank sweep operation can end, and the tank is allowed to settle to separate the remaining oil from the water. The recovered oil can be pumped to adjacent storage as required. The tank sweep process is highly efficient, substantially reduces downtime and cost, as well as being safer and better for the environment.
So as shown in the video, the system composition is made by the sweeping unit, the cold tap flange, the pump and the hoses needed, and the filtration unit. Summarizing how this works, the tank sweep jet stream are directed through nozzle into the tank. The liquid is recycled by a filtration system, and the solid are separated out. The oil and the water returns to the tank. Once the specific gravity required is reached, the process can end. The pros of using the sweeping system is that it's more efficient directional cleaning over traditional heat and circulate. It's ideal for crude tanks to allow safe landing of floating roofs, can delay associated waste cost or allow full recovery, can utilize the refinery to process material where it stays suspended. It's ideal for tanks with a high sludge content, which prevents the use of almond hatches and safe landing of floating roofs. The cons is that there are additional costs to work safe, setup time, equipment mobilization, and etc. It takes longer. The duration time is longer due to the poorly applied use of automated equipment, and increases the amount of sludge as a circulation media must be used to take the sludge liquid. The other technology available for tank cleaning, tank and vessel cleaning, are the magnetic crawler for mainly outside of tanks walls and some inside cleaning. They can use water pressure up to 3000 bar, 40,000 psi. And they are able to use ultra high pressure water jetting on vertical or horizontal surfaces. They remove dirt like rust and pollution easily, collecting it with a vacuum attachment, leaving almost no water on the surface. There is no need for scaffolding or cherry pickers, and the hydroblasting with vacuum system allows recovery. The pros is that they are very easy to operate. There is no need for cranes or cherry picker or scaffolding. The operation are done from a safe distance. The productivity is good compared to manual methods, and the crawler can be utilized for abrasive blasting as well. The cons is that there is an expensive investment, that training is needed, and there is a potential footprint to consider on site for the pump and the vacuum unit. What we usually is not considered when talking about tank and vessel cleaning are the pipes and the tank peripherals for the inlet and outlet. The main issue in pipe cleaning is the pipe diameter, is to consider if the pipe is straight or has bends, the length of the pipe, the material contamination, and the access to the entrance of the pipe for mounting equipment. So now the presentation is actually over, and we're going to open the question and answer section. So I'm going to give the control back to Esther.